Salute, family. It's me, Coach 67 Sports TV. Shout out to the awesome and amazing LDBC, Lions Den Boston community. Before we go any further in the video, like the video, share the video, comment in the comment section, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so you can be alerted anytime I post any new videos. You can also follow me at Coach 67 Sports TV on all social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. All right, so Southern was successful this past weekend in the 49th edition of the Bayou Classic. As a result, they advanced to the SWAC championship game against Jackson State. All right, so one of my coworkers asked me today, first they asked me, did I go to the game? Of course I did. And they asked me, well, if I was Coach Dooley, like, how would I go about winning the SWAC championship game? Now, going into the SWAC championship game, of course, in the Boombox Classic earlier this season, Jackson State beat Southern 35-0. All right. So going into the SWAC championship game, Jackson State is a 17.5-point favorite. So Southern is a heavy underdog going into the SWAC championship game. So essentially, he asked me, he was like, well, Coach, like, how would you attack Jackson State, both on the offensive side of the ball, the defensive side of the ball, and, like, you know, what would be your plan of attack in terms of winning the SWAC championship? Well, first of all, you know, in terms of rumors, and, well, at this point it's not a rumor, it's like, it's known the fact that quite a few, major Power 5 type schools have interest in Coach Prime, you know, Deion Sanders, which is Jackson State's head coach, to be their head coach also. So, of course, that in itself is a distraction for Jackson State. That could be one thing that could take away from Jackson State in terms of them being effective Saturday in the SWAC championship game. The next thing is the fact that throughout the course of the season, Jackson State has gotten into a bad habit of just not being consistent, like from opening kickoff to final whistle. And basically, you know, Jackson State, they sleepwalk through certain portions of the game. And then once they wake up, they turn the light switch on and they just go on a run. And in many instances, they end up blowing out the opposition. They end up just winning, you know, by a decent amount. So if I was Southern, the first thing I would do is, you know, even though Bashawn McCray is the starting quarterback, you know, he's pretty much like their leading rusher, and he's the catalyst for their offense. With Bashawn McCray, the starting quarterback, Southern is limited from an offensive standpoint. I'm not saying I wouldn't play him at all in the SWAC championship game, but he wouldn't be my starter. I would go with Glendon Bubba McDaniel as the starting quarterback. You know, it would give Jackson State a different look. I would make a conscious effort early in the game to get Cassius Allen and August Petrie the ball in the passing game. And in terms of whichever running back ran the ball, whether it would be Carl Ligon or Kendrick Grimes, from what I'm understanding, I don't know what the issue with Gerard Sims is. He didn't play in the Bayou Classic Saturday. I don't know if he's injured again because, you know, he was injured a good portion of last year. From what I'm hearing, he's in the doghouse. I don't know what, you know, the situation is with him. However, he didn't play at all Saturday. But either way, whether it's Rhymes or Ligon at running back, I would run the ball some, but I would try to establish a passing game early. Maybe not a vertical game, but definitely in terms of just getting the ball, you know, just being assertive in the passing game first, because Southern is a run-heavy team. So maybe the first series or two, I would go with Glendon Bubba McDaniel, because last year when they played against Southern at A.W. Mumford Stadium, P. Richardson Field, He almost led Southern to a victory over Jackson State. Now, I know it's not the same Jackson State team. This team is a lot more talented. But even with that being said, I would give him the initial nod in terms of starting the quarterback, try to get the passing game going, and then try to get the run game going after the fact. And then after a later point, I'll bring Bashawn McCray in the game, but he would have to make plays in the passing game because at this point he reminds me of a Southern quarterback from last year who started at one point. His name was Ladarius Skelton. Essentially, Bashawn McCray is a carbon copy of Ladarius Skelton in terms of basically he's just a glorified running back playing quarterback. In the Bayou Classic Saturday, he had the same amount of rushing attempts and passing attempts, which for a quarterback, I mean, unless you like a dynamic type running quarterback like maybe a Michael Vick, Lamar Jackson, that type of guy, it's usually not a good thing to have the same amount of rushing attempts and passing attempts. So I would start out with Glendon McDaniel, and I would eventually bring Bashawn McCray in the game and kind of see what he could do, you know, just to get a feel for what he would do after that point. I mean, I wouldn't be hesitant to play multiple quarterbacks, even if push came to shove, I had to play Harold Blood at quarterback, which is a Grambling transfer. I would play him also. So either way, you know, basically I just would, the two quarterbacks, whoever had the hot hand or whoever was playing better, I would go with that guy. If push came to shove, I had to play Blood, I would play him also. On the defensive side, Southern really struggled to stop Grambling's run game Saturday. For Grambling, Frank Chalk IV, he was their MVP because every year in the Bayou Classic there's a MVP for Southern. In this case, it was Bashawn McCray. He was the MVP of the game. And Frank Chalk IV was Grambling's MVP. And he had 8 carries for 120 yards rushing. So he averaged 15 yards per carry. So overall, Southern just struggled to stop the run. So if I was Southern, I would, defensively, I would make a conscious effort to stop the run. In terms of my coverage, I would mix up the coverage. I would play some zone, some man-to-man. But more than anything, I would try to do two things. One, I would try to stop the run game. And in addition to that, I would try to get as much pressure on Shedeur Sanders as possible. And I would mix up my coverages. And basically, on the defensive side of the ball, I just wouldn't sit back and just let Jackson State attack me. But from a defensive standpoint, I would be aggressive and I would get after Jackson State. That would be my plan of attack if I was Southern. Like I say, I would mix up coverages. I would play some zone. I would play some man-to-man. Certain instances, I would go cover 0 with no safety. Other instances, I would have a single high safety. Other instances, I would go cover 2. I would just mix up coverages. In addition to that, I would just try to just mix things up in terms of blitz sometimes. Sometimes play, you know, cover 1 man, whatever case may be. Just mix up my looks and just basically try to keep Jackson State guessing in terms of them on the offensive side of the ball. I would just try to, first and foremost, just take away the run. And then thereafter, would try to be aggressive and, you know, blitz here and there in the passing game. And just try to mix things up. Just try to keep them guessing and confuse them. But more than anything, if I'm Coach Dooley and I'm Southern, I want to get out in front of Jackson State early. And if I get up 2 scores, then just basically see how the game plays out. I think if you could get up a couple scores, it'll be beneficial. And we know Southern is a run-heavy team. You know, they pretty much ran the ball most of the season. Bashawn McCray is their leading rusher on the season. He's a starting quarterback. So, like I said, but the problem with him in the game, you're limited from a passing standpoint. He's not going to make a whole lot of plays in the passing game. And even if he did start, even if they do start him at quarterback, it's imperative that they get the pass game going. Whether it's some tunnel screens, some bubble screens to Cassius Allen, to August Petrie III, whether it's trying to throw the ball screens to the running backs, Carl Ligon, Kendrick Grimes up the backfield. It's imperative that they get the passing game going early and catch Jackson State off guard. Because just from a running standpoint, if you're just trying to run the ball, you're playing really in the Jackson State's hands and to the strength of Jackson State's team. I'll give like further analysis and break it down a little bit more as the week progresses, leading up to the SWAC championship game. So like the video, share the video, comment in the comment section. Y'all have a blessed and phenomenal night. I'll catch y'all on the rebound. Peace and blessings.